可以的，现在生意其实蛮点对象。三界觉得昨天就难了，将就怪多当你掉手机，白天结束一杯做满地，多了被这三界六花手，三界觉得昨天就难了，将就怪多当你掉手机，白天结束一杯做满地，多了被这三界六花手，三界觉得昨天就难了，将就怪多当你掉手机。大家经受一辈子难题，多了并且三界多关系。
Krishna is asking, do you have any questions?
My question is about gaining enlightenment. Yesterday, I think Yeshua mentioned that bodhicitta is the way to gain enlightenment. But in the recent teachings given by Holiness Dalai Lama on the 400 verses, I think if I'm not wrong, I think I heard that he mentioned that the highest yoga tantra is the only way to eliminate the obscurations to omniscience. So I'm just wondering about the relationship between the two, the highest yoga tantra and generating a genuine bodhicitta, but actually both are equally difficult for me, which is like almost impossible to achieve in this life. So I'm just wondering about it. Thank you.
정확하게 시작했으나 가장 있게는 써야 되겠으나 아예 나타나지 청주청부서나 다산계고가 더해지도 예봐도 그래서 청주성랑 이렇게 우리가 대중어지 참여를 가장 경험시 군들이 소진한테 정말 가르쳐말했으나 남은 연주 지내면 만나면 맞잖아 우리 시티스만 도구도 예봐도 지나 나는 당연히 남은 연주 이 돈에 양지 시티뽕 아니 다 디니 갑사다 개와소를 싣고 뭐라 이나다 개와도 또 있는데 개와소를 남그랬라 아니 디니게 저와 가리거든 저주스에서 샘게다 아니 디마를 단지 저와 가리거든 뭐라 삼발라다 니자 칼카고 쉬위도 뭐 찌빌라다 아니 가서 샘게네 기야요 말에 저주스에서 그냥 기야요 말에 나야 그 양내체 도중에도 못 가는 거
재산 너去다보 고주에 거라 가장님 계시 시바듯이 다와 된주는 제가 제가 매봐 다와 된주는 준제 된주다 때는 답이 된주 준제 이 된주 레디 아니 제부간다 강인의 딜 규칙고고요 봐 뒤에 규칙이 되고 그 도마 쳐 연구고요 봐 어떤 뒤 시세샤를 더 돌고
So with regard to Buddhism, especially in the beginning, at the beginning, as explained before, as also Geshe-la explained from the point of view of those two aspects, the view of interdependence or the view of dependent arising, and the conduct of non-violence or refraining from harmful actions. So here, with regard to the view of dependent arising, that is divided into two, or is classified into two, categorized into two. One is dependent arising from the point of view of cause and effect, and then the other is dependent arising from the point of view of being dependently imputed. Now, with regard to dependent arising from the point of view of cause and effect, here, any kind of effect, any result you have, does not arise merely just from one cause. It's not just one cause, but many causes coming together. Numerous causes coming together, they give rise to that specific result. So that is kind of the fundamental basis, the fundamental idea with regard to this concept. Therefore, without bodhicitta, it is impossible to attain enlightenment. But it's not the case that you only have bodhicitta, that only bodhicitta is the cause to enlightenment.
다 지라마와도 대대비 코란족이 산지 문제 제단 것이 먼저 미 규마기 통투에 달아지네. 다 생기 시작에 들어봤습니다. 옆세사도 유만한세 미라제 아니 샤타투지 풍부제 이내 산지스는 자심 지에데 다나로기 최탐지 캔 아니 동안이 된다 캔 유mon탐지 세 아니 심제 탐지를 민인지 친구 다치에 딘디지기 토네다 나기 윤댕기 토네다 산지 자심 지범마도 구수기 토네 더블더블했다 대 더블더블 심담이 숙체와다 레스루와다 뒤서 요래마다 같이 샤타라래 그런 수 있듯이 되도 딘디원도 집에 산지 드시 되도 때랑아니면 제고해 버려요.
So now from the point of view of Tantra, taking into consideration Tantra, well, as His Holiness, so His Holiness speaking about Tantra, mentioning Tantra, the reason being that, as also mentioned yesterday, we need to identify what it means to be a Buddha, or what does it mean to be enlightened. So taking, for instance, the Vaibhashika and the Sautantrika, those two philosophical systems, as mentioned before. And likewise, taking into consideration the way the Buddha is identified or the Buddha is explained according to the Chittamatra and the Madhyamika system. Now with regard to the Vaibhashika and the Sautantrika system, their explanation is from the point of view of an ordinary person, so from the point of view of us, the way we perceive the Buddha, as being basically a person who was born to his mother, Mahadevi, who was born to his mother, then he grew up in the palace and so forth, went through the education there, and then at some point became enlightened by eliminating the afflictions, the afflictions or whatever is in the way to enlightenment, generating great compassion and so forth. So basically, from the point of view of those two systems, the Buddha was mentally very special. From a mental point of view, the Buddha was very special. His qualities were internal qualities. However, his body was just an ordinary body, like our body, made of skin, bones, and blood. And of course, the Buddha's body was stronger and possibly more handsome, etc. But basically, it was an ordinary body. So with this assertion, according to this assertion, there's no need to touch Tantra. There's no need to mention or to speak about Tantra when going according to this view.
다 군주나 신체와이나 제라마오나 도대바 군주의 수만나 신체와이나 네 산제의 처음에 공헌 탑레시디 정으로 산제 찬의 정으로다. 달라도전에 네 산제 찬의 연주자와 링마로 연주자와 말레나 다시 경고차예요 말 시예요 말로 딘디지 마도 딜게니 다 처음에 공헌 탑레시디예요 말.
So from the point of view of those two philosophical systems, so the Vaibhashika and the Sautantrika, when they talk about becoming a Buddha, so in other words, the immortal state of enlightenment, well, in this case, that's not a possibility because the Buddha passed away. So the Buddha died. And again, the Buddha is not again born once again. After he became enlightened, he does not take birth again and then age and die again and so forth.
아니 좀 내디기다 팬이 심지 먹보기 된다 제여르디 이내다 정산하다 심지 된 제합니다. 단 나가마세보다 내니 심지 탐지 된 제세디 그 심슈자블마도 요해맹이다.
So therefore the Buddha, after the coming of the Buddha, of Buddha Shakyamuni, so he benefited a lot of sentient beings when he was around. However, after his passing away, he no longer worked for the benefit of all sentient beings. So then saying, as long as space endures, I'll work for the benefit of all sentient beings. That is not realistic from the point of view of the system. It is rather in order to generate strength of heart, in order to generate or cultivate the right kind of determination. But from the point of view of those two, it's not realistic.
다다 대쟁기게 지시는 산지 꿀래도 더 샤다 차다 치료기 속치려야 남시 주대비서로 대리균 희가 말. 이 제와이나 타마들의 돌고 해 희고해 차대걸.
However, from the point of view of the Mahayana philosophical tenets, they do not assert that the Buddha is someone who has an ordinary body made of flesh, of bones, of blood, and so forth. They don't assert that. So because it's not that there was this ordinary body and the consciousness of the Buddha kind of entered that. For this body it's something very special, whereas the body that is made of flesh and so forth would be mortal, would die. So how would they explain the Buddha's body? How would they explain the body? Well, they would explain the body as the substance, that the ingredients, if you like, or the substance that makes up the body. So that would be the two, the very subtle energy wind and the mind, which have existed since beginning this time, or the continuum of which have existed since beginning this time. So those two, the subtle energy and the subtle mind, which exist as being of one nature, those two, the subtle energy and the mind, they are that which make up, those are the substances that give rise to the body of the Buddha. So it's basically that this extremely subtle energy wind, which is one of the substances that give rise to the body of the Buddha. So these substances, this energy, this very subtle energy, in order for it to be able to arise as the body of the Buddha, the very subtle mind that is of our nature, so that very subtle mind has to meditate on emptiness. So it has to be used, so it has to be utilized, has to be used by way of taking to mind emptiness, realizing So the methods to how to meditate, the methods that teach how to meditate on emptiness with this extremely subtle mind, with this very subtle mind, so how to utilize the very subtle mind by meditating on emptiness with it, the explanation of this you only find according to the highest yoga tantric system. You do not find it in the sutric system, and you do not find it in the first three classes of Tantra. So the first three is only in the fourth and the last class of Tantra.
지다 제가 있는 전주생매는 디비주 차선 땅 투기에 말해. 이시 따바 타송진의 땅 투비 온도 땅. 전니 전주생매는 디비주 차선 땅 투나 가지 차이를 다 디기 돈이고 다 디기 못 탐지세 디고 탐지세 따바 타송진이래다. 안 디지 차바 있나? 디다 리사데로 하다. 그러나 시험에 시주명행기 안에 속지다 대시자 투고르디 심지 된체도예요 말. 식초진의 인지면은 심지 제게 말해 예수님이 된지 제명원의 땅에 소식 시작으로 심지는 그런 그 가서고래 감담을 받은 챔비지는 굳이 시작으로 가장 교수라이마 강나 감점 시작으로 최지 송고와 대수 용해요 말다.
So, in general, if there's no bodhicitta, if one doesn't have bodhicitta, if one doesn't have love, compassion, bodhicitta, then it's impossible to actually engage in the practice of highest yoga tantra. But even hypothetically, if it were possible without bodhicitta to engage in the practice of highest yoga tantra, then one would utilize the very subtle mind and meditate on emptiness with it. And then this would serve as an antidote to the afflictions, to the obstructions. So one would be able to overcome the obstructions and thereby generate, that is, cultivate a body, a subtle kind of body, a kind of an immortal body. One would be able to do so. However, because compassion, bodhicitta and so forth were missing, hypothetically, if they were not necessary, since they're missing, this person who's reached that state would not work for the benefit of all sentient beings. In general, there would not be the wish to work for the benefit of sentient beings because of the lack of great compassion. And then, moreover, one would not, because of the lack of compassion, etc., one would not have a body, a special body, that is the appropriate kind of vessel in order to help sentient beings according to their predispositions, their aspirations, their interests, and so forth.
지선 선지 유쿠트베기 녜랭기 토는 녜네 제데 말라메기 디게제데 tinjijiningi nyamne jede ta done shi bishin simda parjin tu nyamne takarare dele losu yoma je niga kuwar.
So therefore, from the point of view of generating the body of a Buddha, here the substantial cause that is responsible for the body of a Buddha, that is found within the tantric system. So the tantric system is able to set forth the substantial cause of a Buddha's body. Whereas with regard to the cooperative conditions that give rise to a Buddha's body, well, they are what I explained, they are found in the sutric system, because they are, for example, bodhicitta, the 6 paramitas, and so forth. They are the cooperative conditions of the body of a Buddha.
Kandaya tindegi nga lamengi shungni shibi nyamne di chebala wang tawar. Wang ma tawala nyamne di che khore yomarta, che micho lawar, che yomare lawar, tindi chadaya. Tā diye zō di wāng mā tōng dā di chēni nīpa tūngō mā tā kēchē di rō mā tō wāng jā tā jī sū jī ngā zō jī lēgā wāng jā tā tēp di pār diye wāng jā ngā lī yu tī kēchē mā rō wāng mā tō mā tā nīpa tūngō mā rō tā wāng tō mā tā janchū sēm gu gō janchū sēm mē tā wāng cīng cāng wā tō gu mē rō tā diye yā chūm dēn dī tīng rō jī sui shā yu kēchē kē mā rō kō nīpa tūngō mā rō janchū sēm mē rā pā kē wāng kī nibaji legirese nibaji legyo jesan ta nje ale puitario na matebe na je chunde ne tagaro wa mana ko ne chinju seme to basungwa chinju seme to basungwa la chinju seme ke wa ye la musen ta je chinse de sungyo ta to jong bo de kashin ta yikire ma de wi na ta lende chen to sha chinju seme ke lende che to bo shi lende che wa lende che lende che la nga la me yende lende che 다 바자 샤스 다디 디지마도 칭이상어 용어다 전주세 매번 조사 버려.
Now, in order to be able to take a highest yoga, in order to be able to practice highest yoga tantra, one needs to receive an initiation. So here, to receive an initiation means that if one does not have the initiation, if one hasn't taken the initiation, one is not. There's no permission. One is not able. One doesn't have the permission to practice, and one also is not able to practice. So it means that here, without the empowerment, without the initiation, one is not empowered to do the practice. One doesn't have the ability to actually practice. So this is not like not being empowered to print a book or to write a book, for instance. It's not that kind of power we're talking about. We're talking about here. So in this case here, one needs to actually be empowered in the sense that with the initiation, one now has the capacity, one now has the ability to practice. So in order to, and likewise, one needs bodhicitta to have that ability. But also not just the initiation, not only the initiation empowers a person, but it's also bodhicitta. So this is not some kind of law that the Buddha made himself, that the Buddha created himself, but it's rather that this is in accordance with reality in the sense that without the initiation, without bodhicitta, one just lacks the ability to practice the specific class of tantra. And then also, in order to attain this highest yoga tantric initiation, one needs to take the tantric vows. In order to take the tantric vows, one needs to take the bodhisattva vows. But in order to receive the bodhisattva vow, one must have previously have generated aspirational bodhicitta. One must have made the promise, in other words, or continuously hold this aspirational bodhicitta. So therefore, in order to be able to take this specific empowerment initiation, highest yoga tantric initiation, one needs bodhicitta. So Geshe-la says in his own case, he's just repeating after the Lama, basically. So he's saying like, when he takes the vows, the tantric vows, he's just repeating. When he takes the bodhisattva vows, he's just repeating after the Lama. When he takes the bodhisattva, when he thinks has to generate bodhicitta as part of the ritual, he's just repeating after the Lama. Because that's very difficult, because it's quite difficult to generate bodhicitta.
Ngela chanjusem deshe des jab di gwamchu di ningala dawe namche na pa di dawa are unzo chanjusem di dawa dawe namche na pa ke ani toni des gwamchu deshe jab an di ani toche namche na dawe tundu toche rwa di namche na di che di la ani lame tuwa ne pa di rado nibo che ne chingi la ta dindigi sem di an di namya mitang sine ani lame ki ta di level linga zuri chende cheje di name tangi mes tabje one de te ta tewa de so de di la disane ta shinbeng jamni je chanju gi sem da ume shune shi bi toni di name ta le tangi mes ka di ne nyamle chi gi sine tabje di ta 그래서 나 산je gi sumshu de di cha de ye na me ne 참자는 야 맞아 tabje one de 나와 개네 맞지 tabje tes 페버 de de ya shi zi ye cha de
So usually when we take an initiation, at that time we get a commitment. But the way we think of a commitment is like some kind of prayer, something to recite. That's what we consider to be the commitment, and it's actually Geshe-la is saying it's very good that we do this commitment, that we, according to the kind of prayer, according to what we have to recite, if we do this according to the instructions. However, when we take an initiation, when we receive an initiation, the actual commitment is to generate the mind that includes, the yogi kind of mind that includes all the aspects. In other words, here, as Holiness usually very much stresses this, as Holiness takes the students, those who take the initiation, he takes them through these different steps. First explaining, giving an explanation on bodhicitta, on emptiness and so forth. He gives a very extensive explanation. And then has the students first generate conventional bodhicitta, that is actual bodhicitta, and makes it and asks the students to visualize this conventional bodhicitta in the form of a moon disk at their heart. And then thereafter instructs them to meditate on emptiness and to visualize a vajra, a thunderbolt or a vajra, standing on the moon disk at their heart. So this is the mind realizing emptiness in the form of a vajra standing at their heart. And then he blesses them by visualizing, he blesses the students by having the students visualize that a vajra and moon disk from the Lama enters the crown of the head of the student and becomes one with the vajra and the moon disk of the student. So in that way, one makes a promise. At that time, one makes a promise that we will never let go of those two types of mind, bodhicitta and the mind realizing emptiness. And then we repeat after the Lama, we say, we will never let it go. We will never let this go. So we repeat. So this is the actual promise. So therefore, it is those two. So it's love, compassion, bodhicitta on one hand, and then the mind that realizes emptiness. So those two, to keep those two in union, bodhicitta, etc., as well as the mind realizing or the wisdom realizing emptiness, is in combination. Those two in combination, keeping them within one's mental continuum. That is the actual commitment. So sometimes what we do is the main commitment we neglect, whereas the secondary commitment we pay a lot of attention to that.
제가 하게 대기라고 하신 그게 도마 초과할 때는 제가 규례 제가 대 규칙만 이거 도마 초과할 때는 제가 뒤에 고림 고림 거래 거라나 녀를 제거해 녀를 슐을 제거 고림 투네 야 디교만 녀띠 말로게 뒤인게 거라 아니 아마지를 신디 레가친 용로 마치 저것도 아니 다 투버스고 대다 아마 투버스고 통하다 통인사 디 나신치네 추야 그 차루 아니 디 조시도 지어디 뜨지네 디나 루제 다 춘이 아버지 괴에 와지 차디 뒤로 맞지 야 차루 뒤로 맞지 차루 아 바라지가 차고 리고 차지 페마도 왔다 그것도 차 슈슈 전부 자산의 거리나 아마게 다가라지 그동에 다가라지 있으리 고림투도 여기 축회 산이 도시를 누르고 그래서 이렇게 술 잡고 그러는 거잖아 고림투에 돼 신주에 다가라래 주체 다가라래 제가 그디 디나신지 전주샘 거래 돈이 거래 마기 슈미시비 년에도 좋고 마가는 슈미시비도 좋고 야 딜레야 고림투 좀이다 이게 너무 전주샘 쇼비하고 돈이 쇼자고 이게 되게 딕슈 맞아버지 야 남산 디제샤나 디야 이게 두 번째 차이인 거예요.
So, with regard to any result needs a variety of different causes and conditions. You have like you have like a cause that gives rise to a specific cause, result. So it's not possible that something that arises from a cause, that this phenomenon arises merely from one cause. You always need many causes. But not only do you need many causes, what you also need is the appropriate or the proper sequence of the arisal of those causes. So it's very important that one doesn't mistake the order of their arisal, that one doesn't mistake the proper sequence. So Geshe-la gave an example of making a mistake with regard to making a mistake with regard to the appropriate order or sequence. He said when he was 8 or 9 years old, his mom had gone onto the mountain. She went to the mountain to fetch some wood. And since he was hungry and since she didn't return, he decided he's going to make a tukpa, he's going to make a noodle soup. So he had watched his mother before, so he had seen which ingredients she had used, and so he decided to make a noodle soup. So he put some water, he put flour in the water, he put salt in the water, he made it hot, and then he decided it was not salty enough, so he added a little bit more water. So in the end, the result was not noodle soup. You couldn't use it, you couldn't utilize it. It didn't taste anything like noodle soup. So initially he was confused because he had done exactly what his mom had done, except he had not followed the right sequence, he had not followed the right order. So instead of boiling the water first and then adding the noodles, he did it the other way around. So therefore, so he had used the same ingredients as his mom usually uses, but the sequence was not the proper one. So similar here with regard to Buddhist practice. We need bodhicitta, we need emptiness. We need the highest yoga practice of the highest tantric yoga practice. We need the practice of highest yoga tantra. But it is important to cultivate these different practices with an appropriate sequence, in accordance with the right sequence. So otherwise, generating bodhicitta, the mind that realizes emptiness and so forth, if one doesn't get this sequence right, then one's result may be like Geshe-la Stupa. More questions?
I have 2 questions. So the first question. Okay. So the first question is: yesterday Geshe-la talked about cause and effect, and how if we give something to someone on the right time, we get it on the right time, and if we give it indirectly, we will also receive it indirectly. If Geshe-la can please talk about what is the appropriate way to actually rely on one's spiritual teacher, in a sense of to actually meet them also in future lives. What if you can please expand on that?
How does this relate to the first part of appropriate giving?
Well,
Do you want Geshe-la to expand on this?
he talked yesterday about the whole that if we give, but we give in a slightly.
Yeah.
So I wonder
So that relates to
the way that we actually, what are some of the dangers maybe of not relying properly on one spiritual teacher that will create maybe obstacles for meeting them in future lives.
I just want to understand how the first question relates to the second. Are these two different questions?
No, it's like what he mentioned yesterday.
You mentioned it in the context of giving.
Yes.
No, not in the context of a teacher.
Yes. So in the context of relying on one's teacher.
No, then there's also.
So, excuse me. So it means that you already have a spiritual teacher. You just want to know how to properly rely on him, right?
To be able to meet them again in the future.
Okay.
Yes.
내가 그래서 그랬나? 내가 짐바담에 상관나 튀기 토하는 짐바지 당당 맞추나? 야 shum마 소소치 수라야기 전주 수라야기 튀토네 맞아지. 내가 가주미 좀 미고아지 나타와이나. 가서 미고아지 나타 거기 튀나 맞아지. 그래서 대시켜. 대참도 마세야 뭐서랑 맞아지. 미셴이 주는 직대와이나. 야 직수 댕기는 마음발라 수 댕긴데기야 셴이 주는 수라. 그래서 대단 전에 kokandi shiyadi karsana susu giwe shini la tendu tasana giwe shini ji yudu tsambanayo tas dendon dedan teni yang ji susu ji kalo sushindu tendu densu da kares rangi giwe shini di ta tse di dila ta tse dila ji susu giwe shini yubala ta tse chimala yang ya dewa chaya la yang talang kareyo to any type of activity, because if we had this attitude with regard to any kind of activity, well, that would be just our nature. It would just be in our nature, and there would nothing one could do. One would naturally feel one cannot do something. But that's actually not the case.
가서 이미 하신 거는 집배주실래 미 워싱버지 인지 쉬지 뭐 쉬고 얘기도 세 끼지지 그러는 게